To give a little bit of background about the program. So Swami has blessed us, as you know, in the recent few months with some amazing and inspiring speakers to come and talk to us. They've all been wonderful instruments of Swami, and Swami has sent them our way to actually inspire us. And today we have one such speaker who's also come here as part of what we call as the i2I transformation series, which is about taking us on this transformational journey of the small I or the individual consciousness to the larger I or the universal consciousness. And each of the speakers that have come as part of this program have helped us to progress on that particular path of journey. And today we have one such special guest today, Dr. Veeru Mudigonda. And before I welcome him to the podium to talk, let me give a little bit of a background about Dr. Veeru. So Dr. Veeru specialized in oral and maxillofacial surgery and later in neurosurgery. He is currently a community practitioner in Wales, UK. He holds the following degrees: Bachelor of Dentistry from Hyderabad, India, and Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery from Cardiff, UK. He is a Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons, Edinburgh, member of the Royal College of Surgeons, London, and the member of the Royal College of General Practitioners, London. He has received many academic accolades during a distinguished career in medicine, including gold medal from the American College of Dentists, gold medal in periodontology, Colgate-Palmolive gold medal for academic excellence, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba gold medal for all-round excellence in medicine in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and Merit Award for Excellence in Medicine, Cardiff University, UK. But let me get to his experiences and his resume of being with Swami. Dr. Mudigonda comes from a family of Sathya Sai devotees, having come to Bhagwan at a very young age of 6. He was fortunate to be a student in Swami's school in Hyderabad and later in Swami's college, and has a diploma in Sathya Sai education, which he received from Bhagwan in Prashanti Nilayam in 1983. He is also a founding member of the very famous Hyderabad Youth, which some of you may be part of, heard about, but I've heard a lot through my other fellow Hyderabad Sai brothers and sisters who live in the Bay Area. And I vicariously lived by sharing, when they shared the experiences about the Hyderabad Youth. And Dr. Veeru is one of the founding members of the Hyderabad Youth. And as part of it, he's actually had the opportunity of getting direct advice from Swami about various topics on Grama Seva, service, the right conduct of Sai youth, sadhana, leadership. And also I've heard about this, he was also part of the team of the motorcycle pilots that escorted Swami during his visit to Shivam in 1991 and during the subsequent sports meet events in Parthi. As an active youth, he led many medical camps and service programs and has given talks in Swami's presence. He has been involved in the Sathya Sai International Organization in the UK since the turn of this century and has held various positions of responsibility. He is an inspiring speaker, as you'll find out for yourself, and a tireless worker in the service of Lord Sai. Currently, Dr. Veeru Mudigonda is a National Council President of the Sathya Sai International Organization in the UK. He also serves as a trustee of the Sri Sathya Sai Charitable Trust, UK, and the editor of Love and Light magazine in the UK. I would also like to use this opportunity to welcome Shilpa, Dr. Veeru Mudigonda's wife, who's also here. Welcome to the program today. And also, Dr. Veeru is going to be sharing with us his experience as well as and about the topic of feeling the presence of Swami. Welcome, Doctor.
Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, there are some wonderful people here, and it's a great privilege for me to actually be standing in front of you to share a few thoughts. A lot has been said out of love by our dear brother, special guest, an inspiring speaker. Don't believe in any of that. I'm neither special nor I am an inspiring speaker. Swami is the inspiration. Swami is the source of everything. Swami is the indweller in our hearts. Who else to inspire us than Swami? We are all just simple instruments. We are all just simple members of a large and a wonderful Sai family. We share our thoughts with each other, and that's what I intend to do. I intend to share some thoughts, I intend to share some experiences, and then learn from every one of us. I've had a wonderful time on the West Coast. This is our first time here. When I received the invitation from Uncle Rohan Balasurya, I told him that, look, why are you calling me? You know, of all the people, and from this far across the Atlantic, because the West Coast of America has been the spiritual center of the Sai movement, if you all know. There have been great beings here. Janet Baker. We've had Sam Sandweiss. We've had John Hislop. We've had Dr. Joe Fanu here. We've had Dr. Reddy, Narendranath Reddy from Los Angeles. Many, many people who have spent such wonderful times with Swami, and in who Swami has invested a lot of his time, his energy, his breath, and who have led us, many of us, on this path. So I didn't really think I was one of those special ones to come here, but I knew that it was a great blessing upon me. It is a wonderful blessing that Swami has given to be with you all, and I can't. This has been very special, especially San Francisco has been very, very special, because I met my childhood friends, so many of them here, who have been along with me in the Sri Sathya Sai Vidyavihar High School in Hyderabad, with who I studied, with who I shared a lot of things. So it just makes me very, very nostalgic, very special to be in this very special Bay Area. So thank you, Swami, for bringing me here and being here with all of you. I really liked what Brother said, that this is I didn't know this, that you've had this journey, a transformational process, a series of lectures, and I feel very fortunate to be one of them on this process of transformation. Because after all, this is a process. We have acquired a lot of layers upon us from the time he separated from himself. I separated myself from myself. From that time on, I think we have accumulated a lot of layers. We have many sediments of thoughts and experiences that somehow makes us feel that we are separate from him, that we are separate from each other. And to share a few experiences on that, a few thoughts on that, is a great privilege. And thank you very much for mentioning it at the beginning. As you know, Swami says, Sarvarupadharam Shantam Sarvanamadharam Shivam Sachidanandarupam Advaitam Satyam Shivam Sundaram Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Swami says that all forms are full of peace. Each one of us is in fact an embodiment of peace. In fact, moving temples of peace. Swami says that all names, irrespective of who we are a representation, are a reflection of Shiva, the auspiciousness, the sacredness. We are all sacred. And Swami says that above all, we are all one, and that oneness is represented by the Ananda, the Satchidananda. If at all one has to give any form to the Satchidananda Swarupa, then it is truth, it is bliss, which is Anandam, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, beauty, goodness, auspiciousness, and truth, which is there in all of us. Swami says it is there in all of us, not just us in this room, but across this universe. Everybody has got these things. But I find myself, I ask then, how come, Swami, I am not able to feel it? Or how come, Swami, I see this, this separateness in everybody? How is it that I am still perceiving people as entities, as individual entities, than as one large body of peace and of beauty and of goodness? Around me, my experience doesn't corroborate what I am going through. And then Swami says, Brahma darshana bhagyambu padaya gori. Brahma darshana bhagyambu padaya gori. Vetuka bovarda rechatiko very manasa. You all want to experience the manifestation of the Divine Lord. But then we go searching in this world in different places. Adiyu nilona nunnadi vetukumachata. But the fact is that that Brahman, that peace is within you, is within each one of us. We forget to search, we forget to inquire in the place where we ought to do so, but we go about and search in the world around us. We don't need we don't need to search anywhere else, but then go within and start searching. What else can I say to an august gathering like this? This is how Swami addresses us. And I don't think he has done it once. If we read through the 42 volumes of Satya Sai Speaks, and the Vahinis that Swami has written, then every word of his actually speaks about this, that we are searching in the wrong place. When we were students in Prashant Nilayam, Swami would often say, you are divine beings having a human experience. This is again and again Swami would say, you don't understand, you are divine beings having a human experience. Rise above this, and then you will see what it is. Go within and inquire. You don't need anybody else to tell you, because you yourself are divine. Focus on that. But our minds being the way they are constructed, and probably the fact that we do not focus enough on that, or maybe that we do not have the steadfast, strong, deep faith in what he's saying. I don't know what the reason is. I can only talk from myself, that we do not go in enough to see what Swami is saying. We go out, we always seek what else is there, what is it that the world can teach us all the time. And especially now, when Swami's physical presence is not amidst us, we tend to vacillate, and we tend to look at various, various forms, various gurus, various teachers. We seem to be seeking teachers rather than the reality. We seem to be digging in different places, shallow depths, rather than digging in one place so that we may actually experience the spring that is there for us, because with His grace, we can get to it, we can experience that in no time. Swami is constantly telling us this, and we somehow seem to not get the point. I think it is time now for us to focus on that, rather than go around and look for some subtle form or some medium or somebody else to come and tell us where Swami is. He is speaking to us from within all the time. Let's stop, let's pause, be still, and listen and feel the presence of the Holy One. Because He is with us, He is in and around us, He is always watching us, guiding us. Many times Swami has said he never addressed us actually, I don't know how many of us, he never addressed us as devotees. He always addressed us as Prematma Swarupas or Divyatma Swarupa, embodiments of divine love, or embodiments of divine Atma, the supreme consciousness, or in a very sweet, loving way, he would call us Bangaru, or Golden One. The most precious thing on this earth probably is gold, and he calls us as Bangaru, then addresses as my bhakta, my dear devotee, or any of such things. I've never heard Swami address any one of us as devotees. He is telling us at all times that you are the divine. You don't need to really do anything else except focus on that. He has given us many examples, many stories. Stories from every scripture. For example, he's given the story of Mansur. This gentleman who used to be in a king's court, he heard this truth that I am Atma Brahma, I am Brahman, I am divine. He went on saying, I am divine, I am divine, and I am divine. And people would, ask him, because the people around would say, that's blasphemous. You're not supposed to say that. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't stop. They go and complain to the king. Even then he wouldn't stop. And the king then puts him to death and chops him out. And every organ, every bit of Mansur starts saying, I am divine, I am divine, I am divine all the time. Just keep saying, I am divine. The king realizes his folly and then constructs a monument in his honor. Do we have that kind of a confidence where we can tell ourselves, at least, forget about telling the world, that I am divine all the time? And Swami is asking us to do this. Otherwise, we would take any number of births and we would go to any number of teachers. We would just remain students of the philosophy, but not actually experience Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Sayanam. We would keep coming back on earth until we learn this lesson, and then we understand what Swami is saying. In many ways, in practical ways, Swami used to say, for example, brother mentioned about our trip to Prashant Nilayam on motorcycles, or when Swami came to Hyderabad, we escorted Swami. Once during such, we were about, I think 10, 12 of us, and when we went on accompanying him to the house of the chief minister, at that time it was one Mr. Janardhan Reddy, we went to his house, and Swami came out and then looked at me and said, where's your brother? My brother was not in the group. So I said, Swami, he's in Shivam, which is, Swami's home in Hyderabad. He's there, he's in the bhajan group. And Swami looked at me, what about all these? Are they not your brothers? In simple ways, Swami is saying that everything around you is divine. Everybody around you is divine. And he's teaching us in this little ways how to recognize that divinity. Once in the same way, we were this youth group, we went to Prashant Nilayam, and he came to us and he asked us, how many of you have come? We said, I think 44 or something like that. So we said, Swami, 44 of us have come. And then he said, hey, that's a wrong count. He said, it's 45 because I'm there with you. You've forgotten me to count me. So we sat down, we learned our lesson. We sat down, again he came the next day, and he just casually was passing, and then he said, how many of you have come? So this time we're clever, right? So we said, we are 45, Swami. He said, no, wrong answer. And then he said, we're 88, because I am with each one of you. So if you're 44, then I am with each one of you. So you're 88. So we became even smarter. We learned the lesson. So the next time, we didn't expect he would come and ask us. We thought we got all the right answers, And he came, and again he said, how many of you? So this time, all of us, 88, Swami. Said, wrong answer again. We are all one. It's one. Everything is one. Swami is teaching us in practical ways the journey from I to we to he. The consciousness is, I begin with myself, being divine, but that's not the whole truth. That's not the entire truth. Everything about me is divine. Not only the fact that I am divine, but everything about me is divine. That is quite an important lesson for us to. And then finally, not only that I and everything around me is divine, is just God. There is nothing else but divine. Everything that exists, time, space, trees, moving things, not moving, immovable, everything is divine. Everything is consciousness. Of course, this is a journey. Of course, we have to go through that. Daily experiences in our lives, they shake us. They say that the path to spirituality is a razor edge path. We need to be focused on the path. We need to be undisturbed, unaffected by everything that is happening. Until that is realized, we have to go through the processes. We have to go through the chiseling process. We are born as human beings only to realize this. Until the time that we understand and experience that, there will be many more lectures in transformation series that you're talking about. It doesn't end with a few people coming across and sharing their thoughts. It will be many, many, many moments of, learning this lesson. It is in this world when we live, to constantly be established in this truth, in this information, so that we are divine and everything else is divine, is not always an easy task. And so Swami gives us the tools to sort of go through this. And one of the fundamental things is faith. Without faith in ourselves, without faith in the teachings of our elders, without faith in teachings of the scriptures, it is difficult for us to maintain our journey on this narrow edge path. And I have shared my stories about how faith in God, faith in Swami has been established in my life and in my family. This I have shared before, but it is such a powerful thing for myself that whatever I say and whatever I do in my life is firmly based on this strong foundation of faith. And that is essential for every one of us. So in 1972, my brother was born, and I was 4.5, roughly. And I have a sister who is 1 year younger than me. But my brother was just born. He was born as a healthy child, but within about 2 months, he developed a skin condition. Dr. Joe Fanu is here. He will understand that much better than myself. So within 2 months, I think he was, roughly. Initially, it started off as a rash. Then it went on to spread all over his body. The rash changed into blisters. The blisters burst. They got infected. And they became little pockets of pus, what they call pustules, all over the body. And this is a 3-month-old little baby boy, a chap who has been happy, kicking his upper and lower limbs, suddenly became a lump of meat, bleeding and smelling and the rest of it. We were not Swami's devotees. My dad was what we call a reluctant believer in God. He believed in God because lest he might incur the wrath of God. So some of us approach God out of fear, not out of love. Swami tells us that God is not to be feared. God is somebody to be loved because He is your dearest, He is the closest in your heart. But he hadn't learned that lesson. So he used to have these doubts in his mind. He was a rational bent mind. Our family were followers of Lord Shiva for hundreds of years, and they were pundits, they were scholars in astrology, in Vastu Shastra, in all of that. And so he got the secular education and used to think, simple things like, why should I pray to God? why should I be a supplicant to God? Does he not know what's going on? If he can sort things out, why can't he sort it out? Why should I go to him, light an agarbatti? Like, if you want any favor from anybody, you will go and give them a packet of sweets or some basket of fruits. So he felt he was doing that to God. He was somehow bribing God so that he could settle his problems. That is how he used to look at it. He didn't understand why one should do arati, why one should light an agarbatti. I spent 10p on getting an agarbatti and God is going to give me my promotion? I mean, that seems pretty mundane. Any human being would have that kind of a transaction. So why should I do this? But if you ask the elders, they would say, that's not the way to approach God. Be careful, otherwise you will not get your promotion. So, he was pretty much affected and he wouldn't. He still continued doing things, had these doubts in his mind. So once when he was traveling in Hyderabad, his auto rickshaw got stuck in a crowd, and so he asked the driver, what is happening? He said, some Sai Baba has come, sir, and he's giving a discourse, and that's why people have, got crowded. So in the 5 minutes that my dad's auto rickshaw was stuck in this place, he heard Swami describe or give the inner meaning of why one should break a coconut, why one should light an agarbatti, why one should offer arti or the camphor. Why Swami gave the inner meanings of all of that. In those days, because he was in Hyderabad, Swami didn't need translation. And in Telugu, he was, how fast Swami speaks. And so he was going one after the other. And within those 5 minutes, all the doubts that my dad had about spirituality, his superficial doubts, everything just got cleared. He thought, wow, this is fantastic. This is amazing. He couldn't stay there longer. His auto rickshaw moved on. But he thought, the next time the Sai Baba comes to Hyderabad, I'd go and listen to his discourses. That's his first contact with Swami. And in the meantime, my brother was born. And they went to different doctors and they said he needs to be on steroids. He needs to be, probably he won't survive because his immunity is low. If you keep giving steroids, he will succumb more to the infections. And he probably would not survive longer than 18 months or 2 years. That is quite a shocking news for any parent. To lose a child or the prospect of losing a child can be quite devastating. And so they tried, my dad used to work in Bombay before he moved to Hyderabad. They tried all doctors, but this was, their pronouncement. And my mother, though, she then went to different astrologers. Anybody called a Swami, anybody called a little holy man, she would rush to them. And then they heard that Swami was coming as well. So they planned to go to see Swami. In the meantime, one of the uncles, my mom's uncles, wanted some help from my dad, came for that. So she thought it's a good opportunity, gave my brother's horoscope, and said, could you please tell me what's going on with this guy? Can something happen? He comes back after a week or so, but with a wrong horoscope. And my mother is, those of my friends who are in the audience, they know that my mother is quite a dynamic lady, and she would not take things lying down. So she really got angry on this gentleman and said, Uncle, I thought you would come and give me some good news. You took the time wrong and you got a wrong horoscope. What is this? You've disappointed me. And she was pretty, her angst, she couldn't hold it. So then this gentleman said, why are you worrying, Radhamma? Your son will be cured on the 7th of April. And this was January time. My mother was really struck by that, but she accepted it and she felt very happy. My dad, who was listening to the conversation, said, I hear you say the 7th of April. Who will cure my son? How do you know, first of all? And he said, I don't know. It just occurred to me. Who will cure my son? God will cure your son. Which God? Any God, the God that you have some faith in, or you have faith in, who you are worshipping. Even we used to have a big Lord Venkateshwara's picture. He's the God, famous God in South India, in Tirupati. My name is actually Venkata Veerabhadra Rao Mudigonda. That's my full name. It's been cut short to Veeru. So, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? So, yeah. And so Venkata is a part of our, he's our family deity. And he said, he pointed to the picture and said, you mean this Lord Venkateshwara will cure my son? And he said, well, if you have faith in him, he will cure your son. Now, Lord Venkateshwara, for those of you who don't know, he is an idol, a black, I think it's a marble, if I know marble or granite, black idol, life-size, and he stays on 7 hills about 450 kilometers from our city. So my dad asked, this rock idol will wake up, walk to our house across 450 kilometers and cure my son? Because he was getting a bit frustrated with this, illogical statement. And he said, well, I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm not an educated person like you, but, this is what I feel. So he thought, this man wants some help from me. He wants a favor. He just wants to make me happy. My wife already is pretty upset. So that's why, he said this. Swami came in to inaugurate Shivam that year, and lots of crowds. My dad wanted to go because he wanted to hear Swami's discourses. My mom wanted to go because they heard that Swami will cure, and she wanted to take my brother so that he could be cured. I remember quite well, quite distinctly, myself and my sister and my brother with my mom going on the ladies' side because I was still a kid, and my dad on the gents. And we used to tie his hands, my brother, so that he won't scratch, cover him with a cloth, a smooth cloth, and take him all the way to Shivam, which is about 15 kilometers. And April is a hot month in Hyderabad. Very soon, because of his pus, he would smell, lots of crowds. And one day, one of the ladies said, why do you bring such a sick, smelly baby amidst us? Couldn't you just stay at home and then look after him? So she felt a little hurt with that. And between my dad and mom, they decided that she would go in the mornings when there are not many men folk. They were all gone to their offices. And Swami never gave discourses in the morning. He would come around people. There's a great chance that you could get a better darshan. But my father would go in the evenings and listen to Swami's discourses. Swami stayed for about 10 days. And it was the last day. And in the morning, Swami was waving goodbye to everybody who was sat. Thousands of people, jam-packed Shivam. And he came near about 50 to 100 yards from my mom and turned back and started going away. And my mother just couldn't hold herself any longer. She had waited for 10 days in hope. So she got up and started shouting, Swami, Swami, Swami. And you know what happens? The Sevadal members were immediately on her. Hey, sit down. Swami stopped in his tracks, turned back. There was no path, and he asked the ladies to move, got a little narrow path, walked up to my brother, picked him up, and in his hands and in his right ear, Swami said, Tagutadi, 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 in Telugu, which means it will come down, it will come down, it will come down 3 times. And he gave my brother back, and then he walked away. My mother was so joyous, she was very happy that Swami had blessed. So she called my dad and said, oh, you know what, Swami has blessed our son, now everything will be done, he's cured. My father too was happy, but he said, oh, wonderful, well done, tell me what happened. And then, did he give a pendant? Did he manifest? Did he create a pendant? Because Swami was known to create lockets and all that. She said, no, it didn't happen. Then he asked, did he give vibhuti? Because the next thing is, Swami gives vibhuti. And again, she said, no, it didn't happen. He said, what kind of a blessing are you talking about? And she said, he said that it will come down. It's just the word. He didn't say anything else. So my dad was not even, in the least impressed by that. Anyway, the next morning, every morning we used to take a bottle of glycerin or, something like that to lift the cloth would get stuck to him in the night. And he would get crusted. So we would go with this little cup of glycerin, lift it millimeter by millimeter, and soften it and slowly take off the cloth. Give him a shower with an antiseptic or something. And then, that's how the daily routine used to be. That morning, we went again, myself and my sister and my dad, when my mother was in the kitchen, and we were doing that. The first millimeter was lifted, came off easily. Second millimeter, third millimeter. No, not a single blister. Nothing at all. It was as if somebody had removed an old skin completely from your body and got a new trouser and a shirt. The whole skin was clear, fresh, clean, healthy, and my brother was peacefully sleeping. Not a single scar, not a single blister, not a single scar. There's nothing in medicine that will explain this to you. Your theory, your experience, nothing that will explain what had happened that day. Obviously, we were struck, we were joyous, but tears of joy, tears of disbelief. And then when he recovered and he looked up, it was the 7th of April. And the whole conversation came back to him. Who will cure him? God will cure him. Which God? The one you have got faith in. You mean this Venkateshwara, who is 450 kilometers away in an idol form? Whoever you believe in, wherever he may be, he will come and cure you. Exactly that's what happened. Swami was 48, I think, years old at that time. My dad probably was 35. And for him, he thought for 35 years, the God I worshipped in the form of Lord Venkateshwara was moving about on this earth. I didn't recognize him. But now that I have, I'm not going to waste a single moment. This was the foundation of our faith. The thing to note here, which I would like to bring to your attention, is it was the Word of God. It was just the Word of God that transformed, of course, the physical ailment of my brother, who is quite well now in Hyderabad, which instilled the faith in my father so that he could be on this process, on this journey of transformation. That's the thing that we have to. 42 volumes of Satya Sai Speaks, 15 Vahinis, which he has written himself. We do not want to pay attention to what is there in that, and we want to listen to 100 and different people saying different things. My sincere appeal to all of us here is that let's go back to the Satya Sai Speaks. Let's read, let's listen to his words. Let's go deeper within ourselves, and the transformation would start. It would happen. We do not need to go anywhere else to listen to anybody else, whether it comes from the ether or whether it comes from, any other place. We just focus on what Swami has said to us, and that will redeem and that will transform our lives. Swami says that faith is the stepping stone for love. He gives many examples, right? He says, you have faith in your mother. She tells you, this is your father. So you start loving this gentleman as your father. Both your father and mother tell you, do this and don't do this. You will listen to them. You will start loving them, form a bond with them. And it is this love that, whatever they say, you will listen to it. If somebody else, if a neighbor comes and tells you, you will be pretty upset, because none of the human beings like to be told what to do. If we are honest with ourselves, none of us like to be told what's to be done, isn't it? We accept that only when we have faith in that person and when we have a lot of love for that person. Swami allows us to love him too. He gives us, it's a journey from, there used to be a vice chancellor for our university called Professor V.S. Sampath. He was a retired i2I director and all that. Brilliant man, very intelligent, but very soft, very kind-hearted, very compassionate being as well, great devotee of the Lord. And he would say, it's a journey from faith to confidence. Confidence that whatever happens in my life is for my good, has been given to me by God. I don't have to worry about anything at all. It's not just a faith that, today, I'll pray to Swami and he'll come to my rescue. It is absolute, total faith. We are then relieved, or we are then released from being just a Gajendra. You all know about the Gajendra, the elephant. What does that elephant do? When it is caught by the crocodile, it shouts and fights and does everything that within its capacity to do it. And after having lost all its energies, all its capacity to fight, then it says, "Oh Lord, please come to my rescue." Swami's confidence, the journey from faith to confidence is that whatever happens, He is there with you. You don't need to actually shout out to say, "Oh Lord, come and save." He is there. He's always saving you. I take it as a journey from being a monkey to a kitten. And again, this is Swami's examples, where a monkey, mother monkey, when it is jumping from one tree to the other, the baby has to hold on to the mother. It's the baby's job to hold on to them. If it loses its grip, then the monkey can slip away and fall somewhere. Whereas a kitten, the cat carries it by its teeth. It's the mother's responsibility to get hold of the kitten and jump from one place to the other. It won't jump if there is a danger. It's not any responsibility is with the mother. So if I can move from being this monkey where my individual will constantly comes into play, from there if I can move to become a kitten where I am carried by the Lord, whatever happens in my life, then what is there for me to worry? I am this razor edge path on which I have to travel so that I realize that I am not this individual soul. I'm not just this, this human being, but I'm actually one with the Lord. That I have come from the source and from nowhere else. That is the purpose for which I am born, so that there is no further birth to me. Even if it is there, it is only to serve. For me to understand that, I have to make this journey from being a monkey to a cat. What stops me from making this journey? What is it that makes me, it is the Gajendra, the elephant, thought that I have the strength. What's this crocodile? I am the king of this forest. I am so mighty. It's me, my strength, my scholarship, my wealth, my power, my influence, my reach. This is what keeps me away from the reality that I and he, I and all of us, there's a connect between each one of us, and all of us together are connected to Swami or to the Lord or to the source. To understand that, we have to make this journey from being a monkey to a kitten. Or rather than say we, I would say I for myself. I found that Swami teaches these lessons also. These are painful lessons. If somebody comes and tells you, you're an egoistic chap, you don't like it, isn't it? None of us want to be called man or a woman or a lady full of ego. No one likes this. But Swami does point this mirror to us in a beautiful way. He does it so nicely that we don't feel the pain. We don't feel as if he is admonishing us, but actually he is upgrading us. He is uplifting us at all times, like a mother does, like a father does, like a friend does. One of your best friends will tell you what are the little weaknesses in your character. That's why they're called best friends. And so he is that. He is the Lord. So what happened once was that I was as a student at that time in Prashantilayam, and I used to sing quite a lot in the school. I used to lead the bhajans in the Satyasai Vidya Vihar school. If Swami would come, I would be in the front row doing that, sing many songs, and actually as a Balvikas student in 1976, when I was just 8 years old, Swami gave me a prize for being the best singer in the twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad. And so, I was in this tradition of singing bhajans. And so you feel that you are right from a young age. I was in the main Shivam bhajan group singing, and you tend to feel that you are some kind of a it's a guaranteed it is your birthright. You think I can go sit in a bhajan group and then sit and sing. So when Swami came to the school in my 10th class, I was sitting with another friend and we both were in the bhajan group. Swami came straight up and I was singing, I think you all know, Tum ho data Sai Shankar Hamko dijo Anand Baba Tum ho data Sai Shankar. So I was singing that song and Swami came and he just patted me on my cheek and said, come and join my college. I was made up in my mind to join his college anyway. I didn't need any extra nudge. But when it came from Swami, I felt very happy and I loved to sing. And so when I went to Prashant, I started singing in the school. I wanted to be a Mandir Bhajan group, Mandir Bhajan singer. And I felt that was, that was my mandate. I could just go, sit there and sing. I'm the best singer in Twin Cities. I've sung in Shivam, I've sung in school. Swami has heard me a lot of times, therefore I'll go and sing. That's it, But Swami, in his own ways, teaches you lessons. He teaches you lessons so that that ego that is blocking us from realizing who we are, that we are one with him, is taken off, is reduced in its own, by little. He wants to make it as painless as possible. And so there we were, and all the other names were given to Swami, and he has to pick he has to say yes to the singers. And so he picked it, but my name was not picked. He didn't say no, but he didn't say yes. And so I couldn't sing. And your frustration starts to, initially you think, I went and sat in the front row, he wouldn't look at me. I would ask my warden, my principal, everybody to go and say to Swami. They say, yes, we have spoken there, but he hasn't said anything. This continued, and then you start looking at yourselves. Then I thought, I shouldn't speak to too many people. I used to eat a lot of pickles. That's not sattvic. Therefore, I should stop eating those pickles. You tend to do all these things. You shouldn't speak too much. Swami never liked gossiping, people talking to you. He would always say, hey, too much of gossip, keep quiet. So I tried to do all of those things. It still didn't make a huge dent on Swami's total ignorance. He would total avoidance of, he was ignoring me all the time. So then you start to think, after a long while, until then, I was the Gajendra. I was fighting, with my own strength and saying, I need to get into this Mandir Bhajan group by hook or crook. Finally, when everything goes away, then I said, Swami, here you start to introspect. You go in. And then I thought, why do I want to sing in Mandir Bhajan? What is it about that? And then the penny drops, you want the title of it, you want the perks that come from it. You can go and sit very close to Swami when the whole world waits for hours to get there. You have got your reserved seat, you can go and sit there, you can sing for the Lord. Oh, sing for the Lord? Where is the Lord? The Lord is everywhere. Wherever I sing, the Lord is there. If I sing in my altar, the Lord is there. If I sing in my bathroom or having a shower, the Lord is there. If I sing whilst I'm driving or on the road, the Lord is there. So if I am to sing for the Lord, does it really matter to me that I become a mandir singer? Is it not your ego that is telling you, go and become a mandir singer? And that's what happened to me. The moment that kind of an introspection happened, then Swami came and said, go and sing in the mandir. And the first song I sang was this Tvameva Matacha, Pita Tvameva. And the song goes to Sai Pita or Mata Sai. Maybe, I don't know if you care to join, or I would like to sing the song for a minute. Sai Pita or Mata Sai, Sai Pita or Mata Sai, Dina Dayala Data Sai. Sai Pitare Mata Sai, Sai Guru Sai Sakha Sahodar, Sai Satya Shiva Sai Sundar, Sai Satya Shiva Sai Sundar, Veda Upanishad Gita Dina Dayala Data Sai, Dina Dayala Data Sai, Sai Pitare Mata Sai. Thus began the journey of this relationship of love with the Lord. It is an amazing, it is a beautiful, it is a sweet relationship. And along the way, Swami teaches these lessons on ego, on unity, on the divinity that is there within us. He's also very patient. He doesn't condemn you, despite falling many times. He picks you up, he dusts you down, he protects you, and then again he says, come on, get up and get going. So when Swami came to Hyderabad as youth, we suddenly got an idea, one of them, that why don't we escort Swami's motorcade? When he lands in the airport, he just comes in the car. There's a lot of motorcycles, cars going about in an unruly way from Hyderabad, Begumpet Airport to Shivam. It's just a matter of about maybe 5 kilometers, 20-25-minute ride. We just got this idea that maybe some of us should just form a little motorcade, the kind of things that we see when presidents and prime ministers visit various continents. And we didn't know whether the elders would accept it or not. So we just, about 8 of us, got this into a small group. We asked the chief coordinator at the time, who is one Mr. H.J. Dora, who is now on our Satyasai World Foundation, one of the members, very senior member. He was the commissioner of police at the time in Hyderabad. So we said to him, sir, could we do this? And he said, well, let's do a dry run. Being a policeman, he just didn't want to take any chances. So he got a green Mercedes-Benz car in which Swami was going to drive, be taken around. And we formed a formation and we escorted Swami in Hyderabad, wherever he went. And Swami took us to different places, things that as simple, youth, students at the time, we wouldn't even have had access to any of these places. But we paid attention to every little detail. So we got our motorcycles of the same color, the same size and everything. We got it all done up to hold flags. We made ourselves, we transformed ourselves into, Yeah, we got the naval kind of uniforms with the caps and with the lapels, and we really wanted to be the part. And actually, so much so, I think we probably overdid it a little bit, in the sense that the special, it was called in those days SPG, I think, Special Protection Group for the Prime Minister of India, who was one Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, who was coming to inaugurate the Satyasai Kalyana Mandapam, a marriage hall, big one. It was beautifully built at that time. This is 1992. And so they all thought that we were some special force that was actually brought down from Delhi, and they thought we were actually sitting on top of them. And we were, not that we were given the powers, but we just took the powers. So if we were we just drove as if this whole world belonged to us. And Swami was there, and his motorcade, we would stop anybody. In fact, we once stopped the governor. The governor's thing was coming to meet Swami. We stopped him and allowed Swami's car to pass. We really did it, and Swami paid so much attention to us. We were not invited to any of these functions. We went to the Chief Minister's house, he would take us there. We went to the Prime Minister's function, we went there. We stood out, but then Swami actually sent word for us to be a part of the function. And we were in there, he introduced us as my escort boys. That was a huge honor for us, because he was introducing us to the Prime Minister of India, saying that these are my escort boys. And so he gave us so much privilege, such access to him. One of the brothers had, he created a bracelet for him, and the bracelet was, when he put it on, he said, "Oh, ayo, saripoleda." So is it not the right size? Because it was short by about an inch or 2, inch and a half. Then he took it up, and then he just stretched it, and the whole thing became bigger. And he just wrapped it around his wrist. So, things like this. And he said to us, where would you come? Would you come anywhere where I go? We said, "Yes, Swami, we'll come." "What about your studies? What about your parents?" We don't care, Swami. It doesn't matter to us. We'll leave everything and then come. He said, No, don't do that. Don't do that. You carry on, finish your studies, and then, but you come in January to Prashant Nilayam. So that's how the escorts group started. Quite a few of our brothers were sitting here. They used to be our pillion riders. We would take food packets, and we would do a 7-day journey from Hyderabad to Prashant Nilayam. We would go to different villages. Any village that was on the road, just cut across, go there, and then start a camp. So some people would go speak to the villagers about the healthy living, no alcohol, no, all of that. Some would go to the temple or mosque, clean it up. Some would do a little dental camp. I was a dentist. And some people would go and distribute food. So this kind of activities. And come in the evening, and we would assemble everybody in the village, put up a little platform, do a skit on good values, do a skit on, living peacefully, living contented lives. All of that we would do. And we would send a telegram to Swami every night. "Swami, we were here in this village, and this is what happened." And Swami would be so happy. These boys, these young ones, they're going and they're doing all these activities. Look at them. So he would be speaking to everybody around about us. Again, we became the stars. And we became, when this starts, we didn't realize for a long time. Whenever we were becoming stars, there was something in for us after that, so that we learned our lessons. Swami's whole purpose, this entire avatar, he says it himself, to re-educate mankind in the truth from which they have fallen. That is the reason why he has. He's not interested in these hospitals. He's not interested in these, activities that we do if they do not bring about any transformation in us. Put it the other way, that he has institutionalized all these activities only so that we get transformed. Activity is a means to an end, it's not an end in itself. Sometimes in our zeal, zest to engage in these activities, we tend to forget why it is that we are participating in this in the first place. And then we build these big walls, our vision becomes blinkered, our mind becomes narrowed, and we enter into all kinds of conflicts and chaos, even within a spiritual organization, which is mainly there for our purification. When Swami said, Swami, this organization is for spreading your message, they said, hey, leave that to me. What do you know about me to tell somebody who I am? This is for your own chitta shuddhi. It is for the purification of your own mind. That's why these activities we are engaged in. But we tend to forget, and we were youngsters, and so we did forget. So we went there to Prashant Nilayam, and we were the stars. Everybody was speaking about us, and they said, Swami is speaking about you. And Swami again made us the apple of all the eye, I think. Although some were probably, we were an eyesore for them too, because they were thinking, who are these guys? They suddenly come up, and we could drive right up to Swami's door, the interview window. That's where we would actually have a picture where we were just stood by Swami's interview window. That's our parking point. So Swami went, the car went, and we went in a formation right till, that's unheard of. And we were going on the ladies' side, because that's how Swami's car would go. There were so many things that he allowed us to do. And I remember we were sitting there, and he said, somebody asked him, Swami, give us an interview. Swami said, Chustanav kada, enta busy ga. You're seeing, right? I'm so busy, I can't give you the interview. And then he would call us and say, go in. And the 8 or 10 of us or 15 of us, all of us would go in. And not only once, he said, I'll call you again tomorrow. Any spiritual questions, have them all ready. He gave 3 interviews, one after the other, on 3 days, talking to the youth, telling us different things on, as you said, on leadership, on how to participate in seva activities, what are the important things to keep in mind, how we should lead our lives, what are the precautions we should take, how we should live a balanced life, how we should integrate ourselves into society, what's the meaning of renunciation? Doesn't mean that you give up your studies, give up your home, hearth, but you actually go, you reduce your desires and go and work for the sake of people around us. All these, nuggets Swami was giving us in those 3 days. So, we came back, we hope we did our best. But then Swami asked us to come back next year. And we went back the next year, and Swami wouldn't look at us. We are sat there, I don't know how many, I hope none of you have been through that, because it's a very painful process. We were sat there, he would completely ignore us. He made sure that we realized that he was ignoring us. Not only that he just ignored us, he made sure that we knew he was ignoring us. From a distance he'll see us, and then he'll go the other way. He'll come to the one very next to us, and then we are hoping there that he'll speak to us. Not even an eye contact. And he would speak to the others and then walk. So we knew that he was definitely avoiding us. So that trip went like that. We felt pretty dejected. We sent telegrams, greeting, cards, you name it. We did bhajans. They call it emergency sadhana. So suddenly, you got an SOS bhajan. So suddenly, until then, nothing happens. Oh, Swami, please, you need to talk to me. I need a parking space. It's all sudden SOS prayer. So we did that as if we were going to an accident and emergency department. But he is a taskmaster, because he's interested in our well-being. If he has to do that, he becomes the father who will be very strict. And so that year he didn't. So after about 2 or 3 months, one of our leaders, he went, and then he had another chance to speak to Swami. And he said, Swami, all these boys, the whole team, they're feeling very bad that they have hurt you, that they have done this. And Swami said, no, I'm not angry with them. I'm not hurt. It's just that when I call them mine, my escort boys, when I call them mine, then they become a part of me. They reflect a part of mine. If that reflection is not going on, then I wait for them to realize. Until that happens, what is the point of wasting my word on people who do not want to correct themselves? I rather go and speak to someone who has listened to me. Every one of you have to come to me at some point of the time or the other. When I give my grace, when my grace flows on you, yet you do not understand the importance of it, what is the point of giving a diamond to a little one who doesn't understand that it is a precious stone? This is how Swami spoke. We immediately, it wakes you up. And again, I'm sharing this because each one of us here have had many, many more experiences than what I am narrating. Experiences, they will never, you can never record all of them. In 1966, I think, one Mr. Raman Rao, who people from Hyderabad who are here in this, they will know, he went as a skeptic to Prashant Nilayam. And he went because his friend was devoted and he wanted to go there. And he would interview people coming out of Swami's interview room and ask them, what did Swami do? Everybody had a great story to tell. So he then thought, he himself was a writer. He is a writer. He has written some books now and he is editing, I think, Sanatan Sarthi in Prashant Nilayam. He's about 90 now. And he went to one gentleman. They said, this was Mr. Kasturi. He's writing a biography of Swami. So he went to him and he said, sir, I've got so many stories. I want you to listen so you can include them in the biography. He said, my dear friend, from the last so many years, every day there are about 50 stories of transformation. If I try to record all of them, this is 1966 I'm talking about, and today we are in 2016. If I record all of them, paper and ink would not be sufficient. My time in life would not be sufficient. This is in 1966, and from then on, can we believe how many stories of transformation would have happened in this world? But it's not just those stories that are important. For us, it is important as satsangs, but those are the nuggets of transformation that we need to keep our mind focused on at all times. And so, with this escort group, Swami made sure that we went inwards and we transformed ourselves in ways which I'm sure my brothers all over the world, whoever is part of this group, have transformed, have learned their lessons through this process. Swami just doesn't leave us with saying that you need to get transformed. He gives us a tool. He tells us, he explains to us what are the different ways in which you can transform yourself. And I think a solid, a sure vehicle for that is our organization. It has got 4 wings. I think in UK, in US, I don't know whether you count the youth wing as a part of as a separate wing, but definitely in the UK, we do take the youth wing as a part of our organization. So we call it a spiritual wing. We don't call it devotional. It's a spiritual wing. We have a service wing. We have a students education or SSC wing, and we have got the youth wing. Through the various activities that we undertake in these transformation, these are meant for transformation. I mean, in the SSC, I remember in 1976 when I was given this prize where Swami said, called me, gave a prize, and then he said to me, good boy. I'll first say in Telugu, he said, Swami peru nilabettu. Keep up Swami's name. Now, I didn't understand the importance or the import of it. My dad immediately understood, how important that is. Keep up Swami's name. And he wanted me to be a reflection of Swami's teachings, of Swami's, little nuances. You know how Swami doesn't like long hair. Swami doesn't like long sideburns. Swami, he was very particular about the kind of clothing you wore, not too loud, not too floral, not too rugged. All these little things that were there, he used to pay a lot of attention. He would come shopping with me till I was probably about 18, I think. So, these little aspects of life, he had inculcated in me from a very young age. So, transformation starts not just when you are much older, but your externalities as well as the internalities, the internal, both have to be matched up. Once one gentleman who was pretty senior, very close devotee of Swami, like I sang today's prayer right at the beginning, he said, Swami, you are my mother, you are my father, and you are my everything. And Swami said, no, I'm not. So this man got the, he said, no, Swami. He thought Swami was just joking or just jesting. Swami said, no. He said, no, Swami, you are my father, you are my mother. He said, no, I'm not. He said, then Swami said, if you say that you are my child, every father and every mother, when they have their children, the child has got some characteristics of the mother, some characteristics of the father, something has to happen, then that's when you will say, this is the child of so-and-so. It happened to me. In the school where I was studying, Swami came there in 1978, I think, or perhaps in the same year as 76 or 78, one of those. I've got a picture of that as well. And 4 of us were selected to give Aarti to Swami. And my dad at the time had already, so it's 78. He had already been a Sai devotee for a few years by then. And he had already participated in a lot of bhajans, a lot of Nagar Sankirtans, Narayan Seva, all of that. Our house was the hub of this. But he had this doubt in his mind, I don't think Swami knows me. He felt that Swami had not acknowledged, Swami had not spoken to him. So he felt that Swami doesn't know me, And when I was giving this Aarti in 1978, Swami looked at me and said, hey, Nageshwara Koduku, Nageshwara's son, polikalu kanapadutunnayi. I can see the characteristics in your face. I was happy that Swami spoke to me, that's all. When I went back home and narrated this to my dad, he cried. I thought, what did I do? I just narrated to you what Swami said, right? You should be happy. Why are you crying? Tears in his eyes. Because in his mind, he was thinking Swami doesn't know you. Whereas Swami is not just directly, Swami is telling him, not only do I know you, I know your son, I know your entire family. Don't worry about it. And each one of us have got many such experiences. So there Swami said that if you are my child, you should have some characteristics of what I am. If you don't exhibit any of it, and yet say, I am your Swami, I am your child Swami, you are my father Swami, you are my mother Swami, you will say no. Have you ever heard Swami speak to anybody in a harsh voice? Have you ever heard Swami say to anyone, he will come to even the newest person, right? And he will say, Bangaru, kab aaya? Idhar se aaya? Kitne log hai? How many are you? Where did you come from? But the new person, he knows inside out what's going on inside, in that person. Who he is, where he is. He knows everything about this person. He could have said, you fellow, you've done this, don't come into my... He never said that. He's always so quiet and so polite and so sweet, so welcoming is his. When he's walking amidst us, such smile. We just have to look at each one of us and then say, in our centers when we come, do we reflect this? As soon as somebody comes, what is the kind of language? And language is not just verbal, as we all know. How do we communicate with each other? Is it out of, and it's not just a put on. A put on would be picked up in no time. It is something deep. Swami says dharma is nothing but concern for others. That's dharma. We want to give huge expositions on dharma, what this is, this dharma, that dharma. Swami's simple definition is concern for others. In the way we speak to them, in the way we communicate with them, in the way we smile at them. Maybe a simple smile is enough. That is seeing Swami. That is a reflection of Sai. And it doesn't just not Sai centers, our workplace, wherever we are. That is the reflection of Sai. Then, if I say, Tvameva Matacha, he will say, yeah, you are my child. I accept you. If he don't, then he will just say this, no, I am not. I am not your father. I am not your mother. So I think it's quite important for us to reflect the teachings that Swami has given in our day-to-day actions. Another time, Swami is so, it's called sunnitam. His presence, his touch is so delicate because he knows that everything you touch, everything you step on, every person you come into contact is consciousness. And when that is the case, you've got to be very gentle with that. One gentleman who was sat in the inner interview room, he went in there, Swami said, close the door now. And he pushed the door, and the door went and closed with a bang. And then Swami, hey, what are you doing? That is consciousness. Be soft. Be soft. This presence of God in our lives, we need to practice at all times. We need to be aware of this divinity that's within us and that He is around us at all times. He's not a God who is watching us. It's not this kind of a God is watching you at all times, so therefore be careful. It's not that. It's not out of some kind of, one boss who is seeing you. You don't, one camera or something that is catching you doing stuff. It is just this awareness that Swami is there in our lives at all times, in every little thing that we do. I think our journeys should be from this gross awareness to this deep, inner, constant integrated awareness, which Swami calls it as Pragnanam Brahma. That is the Mahavakya of all the Vedas. Pragnanam Brahma. That's constant integrated awareness is what I think we need to focus on in our lives and carry on practicing that in our own ways. Service for that. Swami says that all the Vedas, after they have exhausted saying all these Mahavakyas, all that they start talking about is love. They all go on talking love, love, love. Till the time they become mute. There's no further talk. You just exist. And Swami gives the example that if a person who is drowned in water till the neck, he will continue to speak. A person who is completely immersed in that tank, how can he speak? There's no talk. There's no talk even about love. The fact that I'm standing in front of you and talking gives you the evidence that I'm not special. Gives you the evidence that I haven't seen or I haven't immersed myself completely in this divine consciousness that Swami is asking us to do so. So, when Vedas are talking about love, Swami defines love and says that for him, love means serving others. బీద పేదల బాధలని తొలగించి లేమిని బాపుటే ప్రేమ నాకు. Swami says, love for me is looking after the difficulties of the needy, difficulties of the poor people, and quenching their hunger, wiping their tears. That is love for me. Swami says. When he wrote this letter to his brother in 46, you can correct me, or 43. Thank you, Shiva. Swami says there, he asks, what are you doing all this for? You are just a 14-year-old kid born in a little village. We have got a family, we have got a name, and you are going and doing all these things, doing weird and, and all these people from different places coming there. What are you up to? And then Swami says, Akhila Manavulaku Anandamunu Gurchi Rakshinchu Chundute Dikshanaku. I mean, these words are powerful words. It's not just Manavulu, Akhila Manavulu, the entire humanity, for them to give them bliss and protect them. That's my vow. Give them Ananda. And what I started off with Swami's other, poem, which is Satchidananda Rupam Advaitam. And he's saying, I have taken birth to give you that Ananda, to give you that bliss, which is Advaita. That's my vow. It's not just a simple statement, it's my vow. And he worked 85 years of his life, my dear brothers and sisters, only to give us happiness. Can you believe how many of us stood there in front of me, of him, sat in front of him, and asked him, Swami, give me that, give me this. I want Pad Namaskar. I want you to stand on my sandals. I want you to bless my pen. I want you to autograph my picture. He went on. I asked so many things. When I actually stopped asking, after a grave experience in my life, where he took us through it, as if he held us in his hands, without us. Let me go back to that statement. Swami said, I will give you Ananda, but I will protect you while I am giving you that Ananda. Because he knows that the path to Ananda is beset with lots of difficulties. Therefore, he's saying, I'll protect you and then give you the Ananda. Which God? I don't remember anybody, none from any of the scriptures, who says, I will give you this and I will protect you as well. That's what he has done for us. And there are many experiences in my life. I lost my parents at a very critical time of my life when I was very young in a sudden accident. And you can imagine for a 21 or a 22-year-old with a 21-year-old sister in India and a 17-year-old brother who has not yet been, finished his education. There's no money, there's nothing. But when I say there's no money, I didn't have anything to do with money because my dad took care of all of that. Through all of that, through that trauma, through that turmoil, Swami gave us so much protection, so much Ananda, such bliss that you never felt that you were actually walking through this difficult period in your life. He protected you. Sanmargamunu vidi, cheriyunchu varala cheyi patti kapadute vratamuna. Powerful, powerful. Those who have actually strayed away from the path, to catch hold of their hands, get them back to the main correct path, by holding their hands, is my worship or is my vratam. We all hold a penance we take a vow ourselves. That's what he's saying. He's saying, that is why I'm here. At one time, when I was getting married to Shilpa, I just took a little time because he had by then sorted so many little things in my life, where I should live, what we should do, where we should do bhajan, whether we should move the house or not, where should I get the money from, what is my insurance. All of this, my dear brothers and sisters, was sorted by Swami. Every little bit of it. So I thought, he sorted my sister's wedding, which is the biggest thing for me. I thought, look, I've bothered Swami enough. I don't want to do it anymore. Swami, I'll give you a little freedom. That's what I thought. By then I had settled a little bit in my life. I started a dental clinic. Swami told me when to start it, October 6th, 1992. He told me what the title should be. I went and said, I'll name it Sai Dental Clinic. He said, no, call it Sri Sai Dental Clinic. To the minute, he was protecting us. So I said, okay, Swami, I won't. Then he sent word through by then my brother-in-law. He said, what is this guy thinking? You think he can sort himself, everything? He doesn't want to tell Swami anymore? I ran then to Swami and I said, no, Swami, nothing like that. I just thought I will give you some space. I just thought I will give you. I said, Arey, you idiot. Swami said, Tunna pota, buddhile. No buddhi. He said, the reason I have taken birth, I have come on this earth, is to be with you all, is to take every difficulty of yours on my head, on my shoulders. That is the one that gives me the greatest joy. Why are you denying me this joy? Once we went to, as youth, we wanted to do some tribal homes near Prakasham district. The Swami came to us and he said, no, please, give me that opportunity. I want to serve them. I want to construct the houses. You stay aside, you guys, you stay. I want to do it. For him, he has taken the supreme consciousness, the one without whose will a single blade of grass would not move, not just on this earth, anywhere in this cosmos. He is saying to us, I have taken this birth to make sure that all your difficulties are taken care of. Sanmargamunu vidi, those who stray from the good path, to bring them back by holding their hand, that's my job, that's my duty. And then he goes on to say, Bida pedalakaina badhalanu toliginchi, for the ones who are poor, who are destitute, who don't have anyone else in this world to look up to look after their welfare, to wipe their tears, is love for me. Premana. We all say love, love, love. Swami is a form of love. Swami is the avatar of love. What do we mean by that? Love for us? Of course. But then, that love needs to be shared. It needs to be shared without a sense of I. The Swami would tell us how to do this, service activities. He says, do you expect your neighbor to come and tell you, your mother is unwell, go and serve her? Do you do that? You get up and go and do it. So, when I told Swami why we are doing, medical camps in and around Prashant Nilayam, he asked us students, he said, why? We gave different answers. Swami, they have got too much of chronic suppurative otitis media. They keep leaking pus from their ears. That it's too much here, Swami. They don't eat properly. They don't know how to take care of them. He heard all of that. He kept on saying, why do you do service? Why do you do service? Finally, he said, you do service because it's your mother who is suffering. Because it's your brother who is suffering. If you can do service like that, then that is the reason why you need to be involved in service. And then that's not enough. You need to offer that at the Lord's lotus feet. It's not that I am doing it. It's that I'm going and doing it, and Swami, take care of this. It is that detail to which Swami goes and talks about service. If we cannot connect with our heart, it's not service. It may be called something else, whatever we want to call it. And then money is another very, very important thing that we all know about. I can tell you, I am now 48 years old. I was 4.5, as I told you when I came to Swami. In the 44 years of my life, for everything that he has done for me, I've had a kidney transplant. My wife gave me the kidney, and I'm standing in front of you today. I actually operate as a neurosurgeon in the same hospital that our doctors operated on me. I had every complication that you can think of has been in the textbooks. I was at death's door 3 times, and Swami saved me. When later on he asked and said, how is that guy doing? And when they told that Swami, he's fine, he said, doctors didn't do anything. Today, if he's standing up and if he's walking, it's because of my grace. For all that Swami has done, he has never asked me for a single penny. Nothing. He never wanted anything from me. I have given him nothing. Asking for money to build hospitals and to build schools and to build water projects is not Satya Sai Baba. That's not him. Satya Sai Baba speaks to you, to me, and to everybody else directly. He doesn't need anybody. He doesn't need a tree. He doesn't need a stream. He doesn't need a bird. He doesn't need a medium. He doesn't need a subtle form. He manifests in front of you. For the youth conference, he said, you think of me for 11 seconds, I'll manifest in front of you. If only we do our effort, he will speak to us from within. He will tell us everything that we need to know in this world. But we have to be prepared to sacrifice our egos, to sacrifice our little minds. We have to sacrifice and then join up with this wonderful, wonderful spiritual divine master with whom we have had the greatest chance to move about. If we do that, bliss becomes our property. Talli kaugita kaiyu taradi taradi elugetti pasikuna ఏడ్చినట్లు. Like a little baby in a cradle. It was just so keen for the mom's, for the mother's embrace, that the moment mom leaves his or her presence, it cries out aloud and says, "Oh mom, come back, give me a good hug." That's what the little one does. మందలో మరిగిన మాత కైలేదుడా అంబా అంబా అని అరచినట్లు. A little calf in a big herd, when it loses its mother, it doesn't know where the mother is. It keeps on shouting, amba, 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 amba. It's restless. It wants to be reunited with its mother. Sai sannidhi jera sarvambu tyajinchi, to reach the lotus feet of the Lord. Let's give up everything that we have got, the ego, the mind, the doubt, the hesitation. Let's leave all that to one side. Sai, Sai anuchu hai gonudi. Sai, Sai anuchu. Sai, Sai anuchu hai gonudi. Keep saying Sai, Sai, Sai with every breath, and get high the bliss, the comfort in this life. We don't need to think about anything else. We don't get this human life again and again and again. Adi Shankara says this to us so many times, Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham. Of all the species, human birth is the rarest of the rare. And having got the human birth, to get good company like this, to get good thoughts to serve humanity and to be on the path to realizing our inner selves, those are rare things. They don't happen. Having got all of that, let's utilize this opportunity. Let's not fritter it away. Let's not throw it away. There's nobody else to blame at that time. It's as good as self-destruction. We do not want to be on the path of self-destruction, but we want to be on the path of self-realization. My dear brothers and sisters, it's been a great privilege to be amongst you today, to share some thoughts, some experiences. I intended to talk about a few other things and didn't intend to talk about a few other things. When I stand here, I offer myself, Swami, and ask him always, pray to him to speak through me. And I feel that that's what has happened. If in my saying anything, if I've hurt any of the elders or anybody here, please forgive me, but I offer everything at Swami's lotus feet. Jai Sai Ram.
Sairam, does anyone have any questions?
And by the way, if you have any questions, it's not that I'm giving answers. It's just sharing, and I'm learning at all times as well. So,
actually, thank you so much for giving us a wonderful speech today. My daughter, she was in UK for a year and a half, and she mentioned about you and your speech. And so we are very blessed to have you in our in Bay Area to hear from you all of Swami's experience. Just before you came, I was talking to one of the sister that we just have to go deeper and deeper to really see Swami, and your speech also reflected the same. So it's just a conviction that we have to go within ourselves to truly see us and Swami are one, but we have to dive deep. And thank you so much for
Thank you.
giving that opportunity for us to learn. Thank you. Sairam.
I just want to share one thing on what you said. I had this concept, or I didn't understand the concept of self-realization. When I'm realized, what do I see? Do I see myself in Joe? Do I see myself in Uncle here? Do I see myself in Shiva? Everybody appears as me. What does it mean? And then I was told that it's not seeing, it's actually feeling. When you say it's see, I am seeing an object in front of me, I'm seeing Joe, and I'm interacting with him as Veeru and Joe, but I'm not actually able to feel the love. The most important thing is to feel that love. Joe will exist as Joe. You will exist as you. I'll exist as me. Each one of us will exist as different forms. And when somebody says formlessness, the formlessness, if water, it doesn't have any particular form. You have to put it in a particular vessel, and then it assumes that form, like a bottle or a vessel or whatever. Similar with air. And so too, formlessness is that the love that is there is the common denominator in each and every one of us. And if that happens, these forms don't matter. If I can feel that love, then I don't see the forms. Or I don't pay that much attention to the form, I acknowledge it. As long as we live in this world, it's a dual world. And until such time, we will see the duality to some extent, but the love is what we feel. Swami says that as long as you live in this world, there is duality. And there is a thin veil that separates man or human from God. The thin veil has to be pierced, and not just pierced, you have to remain in that state forever. Even Bhagavan Ramakrishna, Paramahamsa, who we all, if some of you might have read, he would come down from an elevated consciousness so as to be able to function in this world in doing things. So in our own duties that we do, we would be feeling, we are aware of Swami's love, we are aware of this common bond of love that threads us all together into one humanity, brotherhood of man, fatherhood of God. That's what Swami speaks to us about.
Thank you, Sairam.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, we see various catastrophic events happen, almost every day. And so has Swami shared the cause of these, and how does he allow these things to happen? As we see a lot of, innocent people get harmed, and a lot of things happen. Has he shared any thoughts on that?
So the concept of innocent people is our concept, isn't it? It's my opinion to say it's an innocent people. We don't know who is innocent, we don't know who is not. Each one of us are going through our own turbulences in life. So even that is, how does Swami allow even that? Not just any, devastating earthquakes or wars and things, of course, but also in our own mind, there's a lot of war going on, there's a lot of conflict that's going on. And I think this, when it sort of, opens its gates, floodgates, then it manifests into something more collective that happens. And of course, with Swami, he's always spoken on the concept of karma, and whatever happens in this world is it's a reaction, reflection, resound of what a human mind is. Arjuna asked this to Lord Krishna, before he was going to the war. He was saying, I know this is dharmic or whatever, but I'm killing. There's a lot of destruction that is involved. There's a lot of pain that is involved. There's bloodshed, what is involved. And then when the Lord shows his cosmic form, in this all the, he had seen peace, he had seen war, he had seen good, he had seen bad. Everything has been happening in this world with his will, because we're all bound by karma. So if we do something that we have done, something that as human beings or as some beings during our evolution, that comes back to us. It does not, none of us can escape it. Swami says you can escape it only by a few things. Grace of God is the first and foremost thing. In order to obtain the grace of God, yes, your karma can be mitigated. It's like, he has given it, this is not my words, this is examples. It's like the doctor performing surgery. Surgery is painful, but you give the anesthetic. And you go through the pain and come back a better person at the end of it. So, with all these, the reason why they happen is this. He says, it's not me who is doing this. It's your own actions. It's your own things that you're doing that will bring these calamities. You can obviate, or you can escape those by focusing on prayer and on good thoughts and in engaging in good deeds. These are, we all pray, all of us pray, right? Whenever there's an earthquake in Nepal or anywhere, we pray. As an organization, we go and do whatever help we can render these victims, these brothers and sisters who are suffering there. So by doing that, it softens our hearts as well. We probably are managing our own karmas too.
Rairam. What is Swami's message to the youth and their role in the organization, leadership, things like that? And second aspect is on similar lines, how to balance like personal life, work life, and things like that at the same time.
Yeah. What is youth, first of all? Swami defines youth as you plus truth. That is youth. It's not just based on one's age. Okay, in a mundane day-to-day things, we do identify youth as between 18 and 35. But just because you're 36, you don't stop being a youth. And just because you're 86, you don't stop being a youth. Swami always says, look how young I am. I'm still active. I'm still doing things. He made others who are 99 years old, Dr. Alreja, go and still work in the hospital. So youth is, Swami's definition is this, you plus truth. And what is this truth? The truth that you are God. That's, as long as we are engaged in that, we're aware of that, and we're practicing that, all of us, irrespective of any age, we are youth. Coming to a more practical definition between of 16 or 18 to 35, yes, there are many things that we all have to do. And Swami's students are a complete example. Swami's value integrated education is a prototype, is a template for the question you've asked, which is, we focus very much on our studies, then on serving our parents, looking after us. That's most important. We can't, in the name of service, you cannot renounce your duties and then go and do things. Yes, in certain households, in certain people, they have to really look after the parent, and sometimes they have to even leave their studies. So I think it is through a process of discrimination, which is what is needed at that particular time. You have to. He doesn't say leave your studies and go and join in service activities. It's quite important that we do that. Once a student actually asked Swami that, Swami, I don't get the time. He's from the US, and he said, look, there's so much, my travel, my little children, my family, and all of that. I don't get the time to participate in any service activities, Swami. What shall I do? And Swami said, no, you perform your duties. That's fundamentally important, each of us. If we are able to take some time on top of that, and then engage in service activities, we should engage in service activities. And I think from my own life, I can say that there have been enough moments in my life I could have been active and done service. I waste it. I waste a lot of my time. I watch a TV, I watch something else, a movie, or do something else. And if I'm really interested in service, serving my fellow human being, if Swami at 85 could come every day in the morning to only wipe the tears of everybody who has been to his presence for 85 continuous years, I can do a little bit, right, of that, a fraction of it. So I think each one of us would be able to, give time for service. I think that I don't have time to do service in my personal opinion. Swami is a highly democratic and loving God, and this was the answer he gave actually. He said, only if you have time, Bangaru, do it, otherwise don't worry. I feel personally there is enough time in our lives to participate in service. Just like we defined youth, what is service? Is just going to a homeless shelter and giving food to somebody, is that service? Is just going to, building a big hospital, is that service? I don't think so. I think every aspect of your life, speaking softly, upgrading people's life, making that person happy next to you with a smile. They might need, just a good word, just saying good morning might make their whole day different in that. Going to your workplace and maybe looking at the secretaries or whatever who work so hard and take the brunt of all the attacks. I'm talking from a medical point of view. Our secretaries take so many calls from patients who are irate sometimes, who are disappointed sometimes. Just going and saying a kind word to them, saying a thank you. Remember Swami went and said thank you to a bullock, to a bull, to a buffalo, which gave water, for the devotees. Those little things that's all service, a kind word, smile, So I think we have to define, when we use these words, we have to define them quite carefully. We have to consider them very closely. And then there is time to give everybody a good smile. That is service. On leadership, first Swami says, lead yourselves. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Lead yourself from the darkness to light. If we do that, we are the greatest leaders on this. We have to be self-leaders. Self-leadership. Watch your words, actions, thoughts, character, heart. That is transformational leadership. Let's do that. Let's become leaders of our own words, actions, thoughts, character. Then we are only servants. We serve at his lotus feet. Then he takes care of you. He will make you, just because I am the national president of i2I organization UK, okay, it's a position, it's a thing. But am I in there for that? I have come into this organization to lose my identity, isn't it? Not to gain 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sai student, president, trustee, youth, adult, young. I want to lose all that. That's why I have come into this organization. These are by the by. Something needs to happen. As long as I do my duty, focused my mind and my eye and my heart at his feet and on his teachings. Offer everything to him. That's all my role is. I am a sevak, I am a servant, I am as we were just discussing this with Joe, I'm a kinkara, not a shankara. If I do that, that's who I am. He will look after everything else. He's the only leader, as far as I'm concerned. Bhagavan Satya Sai is the only leader that I have got. Did I? No, again, definition of renunciation. That's what Swami would talk to us about. What are you renouncing? The first and foremost thing that we need to renounce, or we need to keep things sealing on desires, is the biggest renunciation concept that Swami has given. Vairagya, Lord Krishna speaks, the whole chapter in Bhagavad Gita is on Vairagya. At the end of it, Arjuna says, Lord, this is very difficult for me. I can't do this. And then he says, yeah, I know. That's why I've given you another chapter. That's called Abhyasa. That's called practice. We have to practice little things so that we are able to give up. And he was not asking us to give up studies. He would tell us very clearly, it's not about giving up studies. It's not about giving up our attention to, our duties as a student or as a householder or as a son or a daughter. All those things, they're very, very important for us to carry on. But what you give up or what, are your excessive desires? And Swami would actually, some would say, Swami, is it an okay desire to go and watch this movie? And Swami say, kya bola? Okay, and then, okay, fine. Some fellow asked, Swami, can I have a zircon ring? Can you imagine this? I mean, not only they're asking for a ring, but they're asking for a specific type of ring, zircon ring. Swami said, what is he asking about? And then, so we explained, Swami, I have some zircon ring. He acceded to that. He created and gave him a ring that was a bit more plasticky than solid. I don't know whether it was zircon or not. But this kind of monkey mind, yeah, he was there, yeah. So it's this kind of monkey mind desires, just to sort of, that is renunciation. And so yeah, it's those kind of things Swami would explain to us what is essential. One other thing that just comes to mind is, and I'll finish, is that, for the youth especially, we used to ask Swami, how do we know that we are doing your work, that we are doing good work? How do we know that? Because people used to ask us to go to different countries and to different states to do the Gram Seva, and some people would say, you become too egoistic, you're just going and doing these things. If you go and do, you become very egoistic and that. So we asked, what is it that we should do? Then Swami said that, first of all, examine the motive that you have got. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you want to show off? Are you doing this because you want to give a lesson to somebody else who is not doing it in the right way? I'll show you how to do this. This is very common, right? I'll first examine those motives, Swami said. And if those motives are pure, if that is coming from a point of need, point that this is my brother, my sister, my mother who is suffering, therefore I'm going and doing this, you examine those. If they are fine, then that is, the second thing is, am I hurting anybody? Make sure that you're not hurting anyone. In your zeal to do good, sometimes you may be causing a lot of hurt to people around you and to people who are receiving it themselves. So examine that. Use your discrimination, fundamental discrimination, Swami used to say. Once you have got a clear yes answer to, that I am not hurting anyone, my motive is this and it is pure, then he says that becomes good work. And then if few of you come together and in unity with love do it, that becomes God's work. So whichever project you take, examine that against the benchmark of these fundamental principles. So he spent a lot of time on the youth. For Swami, youth means a lot. Children mean a lot. I mean, adults also mean a lot, don't get me wrong. But, because that's where the seeds of transformation are set. That's where the winds that blow you off the track of spiritual journey are the strongest. So there you need a lot of protection, you need a lot of attention. And the amount of attention that Swami gave us, there are so many stories which so many people will share with you. I was only sharing what's the impact of it, what's the insights that Swami gave to me at least, through which I hope to lead my life during my sojourn in this human form.
Thank you very much.
Sai Ram, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Sai Ram.
On that message to the youth and the youth in every one of us, I'd like to invite Dr. Joe Fanoff, who's our National Young Adult Advisor, to offer a few words.
Dr. Veeru, Mudigonda, could you come up? I would like to present a little something to you on behalf of our region. I'd like to also thank Swami for bringing Dr. Mudigonda to take us on such a heavenly trip this evening, and so many beautiful lessons and life's, all the journeys and wonderful lessons you learned from Swami. My God, you took us to heaven and back tonight, and we're still in that state. We felt your love so much, and Swami talking through you. And also thank you all for the wonderful questions to bring out further wisdom from Swami through this beautiful, pure instrument. So thank you again, your brother, on behalf of our region. Thank you so much.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक हरि महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका अवतार ओम जय जगदीश माता पिता गुरुदेव भगवयन्तयो नीवे स्वामी हरियन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ आगे जय ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप शिव साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंतु मंगल आरती अंतु मंगल हरि ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका